the 17th of September 2019, in a Champions League group stage match against Genk, 19-year-old Erling Haaland will score his first Champions League hat-trick in only his first ever Champions League match, and this would introduce the whole world to the newest Norwegian baby-faced assassin. But almost 3 years since that hat-trick, Haaland has quickly gone on to convince the whole world that more than just being a Norwegian baby-faced assassin, he could be in the running of becoming one of the greatest players of all time, with his statements being the countless records he has already broken just at the age of 22, which has now set the tone for potentially what is to come, because he now has all the right tools to make him the destroyer he was born to be.
Erling Haaland, 100 goals in his last 99 games.
How do you defend against this guy?
His stats are ridiculous.
It's just going to cause mayhem this season, it really is.
Is there anything Erling Haaland cannot do?
Erling Haaland is destined to be one of the best players in the world.
He doesn't have a weakness.
In 10 years' time, we'll be looking back saying he's one of the greats. I think in 10 months' time we might be.
But how did this Norwegian player rise out of nowhere to become a potential next generation GOAT candidate alongside PSG superstar Kylian Mbappe, whom at the time he was lifting the World Cup in Russia back in 2018, not many people had an idea who Haaland was. This is the rise of the fastest growing footballer on the planet. This is the monstrous rise of Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland was born on July 21st, 2000 in the city of
Back home here to Leeds, this is his birthplace.
In April 2001, during the Manchester derby, around the time his father, Erling Haaland, was playing for Manchester City. Former Manchester United captain and now pundit Roy Keane broke Erling Haaland's leg as a result of a serious tackle which led to the family's move back to Norway. This tackle was the major reason for Erling's retirement from football, and as you could imagine led to somewhat of an enmity towards Roy Keane in the Haaland household, where it was said that they usually changed the channel whenever they saw Keane on TV. At the age of 5, Erling was enrolled in Brighton Football Club's academy after his parents discovered his interest in football. His parents chose Brighton because that was where his father also began his football journey. Erling was a prodigy not just in football alone but in other sports too. He took part in many sports such as handball, golf, track and fields, etc. during his childhood. In 2006, he even broke the world record for the highest standing long jump for his age category and was also finding huge success in the sport of his heart, football. At such an early age, Haaland was showing that he was really different from his peers. He was so good that he was made to play with a group 1 year older than him. I saw Erling for the first time when he joined our indoor training. Haaland's first 2 touches led to goal. Because he was so much better than the others, we immediately pulled him to play with the boys a year older than him. His former coaches always spoke really highly of him, from his maturity, work ethic, all the way to his humility.
He's an incredible human being.
He valued the people around him no matter how big or little their impact on his life had been. He was said to possess a winning mentality and was always willing to learn and improve on himself, and this went a really long way for him throughout his football journey. He made the senior team at only 15 years of age in May 2016, but he unfortunately did not have the best start to life as everyone would have expected. Despite being a goal-scoring machine at youth level, Haaland failed to score in his first 16 appearances for the senior team. Well, to be fair, 12 of those appearances were substitute appearances, but his coach Betson, who was promoted to first team boss a little before Erling left the club, was of the impression that he would have surely outscored his mates if he had stayed longer. During this time, one of Norway's biggest clubs, Molde, came in and paid £100,000 to sign the striker, as they were said to have been scouting him 2 years prior. It was at Molde that one Norwegian baby-faced assassin met another Norwegian baby-faced assassin when Haaland would begin to further his development under the tutelage of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It was also during this period that Erling went through growth issues. The 6'4" striker you're seeing today had trouble growing during the time it was absolutely essential for him to do so. Employed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Molde's chef was tasked with helping the striker grow. All efforts to help him grow finally paid off when he was able to grow 8 centimeters within 2 years, but this didn't come without his issues, as he was said to have suffered growth pains during this time. Haaland went on to become absolutely spectacular at Molde, with one of his major highlights being his 4-goal haul inside 21 minutes of a match against unbeaten SK Brann. He also racked up multiple individual awards during his time at the club. After an amazing 20 goals and 50 appearances, despite only being a teenager at the time for the Norwegian Giants, unsurprisingly bigger clubs all over Europe, particularly in England, came calling. Everton sporting director Steve Walsh talked about how he had prepared a £3 million deal to sign Haaland, only for the club's hierarchy to say no. But despite the interest from Everton, Leeds United were the closest to signing him due to his already public affection for the club. But in the end, Austrian Bundesliga club RB Salzburg provided a better offer and opportunity for the striker, which Leeds unfortunately were not able to afford, and so he signed for them, a deal which took £7 million as the transfer fee to finalize, and also saw Brian receive a sell-on fee. He had an immediate tremendous start to life in Austria and became an absolute driving force for his team. Around this time, the Norwegian was just scoring hat-tricks for fun. He scored 6 hat-tricks in just the 2019-20 season alone, but his most notable hat-trick will be the one against Genk on his Champions League debut, and will be the hat-trick that would announce Erling Haaland to the whole world. But before that, during the FIFA Under-20 World Cup, while he was playing in Norway's Under-20 team, he scored a record 9 goals in a groundbreaking 12-0 win over Honduras, and undoubtedly won the tournament's Golden Boot in the process. The hat-trick against Genk made him the 3rd youngest player in the Champions League to do so at 19 years and 58 days, putting him behind legends such as Raul and Wayne Rooney. He also had a magnificent showing against Liverpool at Anfield and scored twice against Napoli. Around this time, the whole world wanted him. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus, Manchester United, Manchester City and Chelsea are some of the clubs that were linked with the Norwegian. In the end, he chose Borussia Dortmund. A strange choice at the time, considering he just literally rejected many of world football's biggest names, but it later turned out to be the smartest move for him. He wanted a club where he could continue his development and could also be guaranteed an automatic spot in the starting 11. The latter may not have been provided at any of the aforementioned clubs. Also, Dortmund at the time was quickly becoming one of the best places to nurture young players while also providing them the required Champions League experience. Haaland arrived at Dortmund in January 2020 and immediately took the Bundesliga by storm when he came off the bench as a substitute to score a hat-trick on his Bundesliga debut against Augsburg. He soon quickly dispatched the starting striker at the time, Paco Alcacer, and took the title as Dortmund's best player from Jadon Sancho. Haaland was a force to reckon with. He was a perfect mixture of pace, raw power, technicality and positional intelligence all in one body. He almost seemed robotic, just like his interviews.
After the final whistle, you and the whole teammates, you were going to the south stand, the famous yellow wall, which was empty today, of course. Why did you do that?
Why not?
Is it a kind of message you want to send out?
Yes.
Would you tell us a message?
To my fans.
His smartness in the box was the thing about him. He tried to be strong and was very fast. You can see how fast he is now. So quick, it's almost unbelievable. But best of all, he used his brain.
For somebody so young, yes, he's fast and strong and all that, but there's been loads of people who have been fast and strong and quick. But I'll tell you what, the understanding of what goes on in the penalty box in particular, this guy's miles ahead of everybody.
He had his first Dortmund Champions League moment when he scored twice against PSG in the round of 16 first leg to give them the advantage entering the second leg. COVID hits, everybody's form got reset, and unfortunately for them, PSG prevailed in the second leg. Haaland would end that half of the season at Dortmund with 16 goals in 22 appearances and a total of 44 goals in 40 appearances, with his first half of the season at Salzburg included. Haaland continued his incredible performances at Dortmund during a period when they were experiencing a roller coaster ride in the Bundesliga with mixed results, change in management and early Champions League eliminations. From the start, Haaland wasn't going to stay at Dortmund for long and everybody knew it, but the constant talk about his future while he was still contracted to the club, many of the Dortmund faithful felt this was kind of disrespectful towards the club, but this dissatisfaction was ultimately compensated with his performance on the pitch. As the team got poorer, their over-reliance on him increased massively. They conceded the 2020-21 Bundesliga title to the usual suspects and finished in 3rd place, 14 points behind them. They were also eliminated in the 2020-21 Champions League by Manchester City in the quarter-finals. In the summer of 2021, Chelsea were strong contenders to sign him, mainly due to their status as the then champions of Europe, but due to Dortmund already agreeing terms with Manchester United to sign Jadon Sancho, they refused to sell Haaland. They didn't want to lose 2 of their star players in the same summer, and this in turn led to Chelsea bringing back Romelu Lukaku from Inter Milan for over €100 million, a move which ended terribly for them. After losing Sancho, Haaland held on, and the following season ended disastrously for them. Haaland suffered from multiple injury problems and the club got eliminated from the Champions League in the group stage and even failed to get past Rangers in the Europa League. Despite his injuries, he scored 29 goals in 30 appearances for them that season. In the summer of 2022, after all the back and forth regarding Haaland's next club, Manchester City came in and snapped him for 60 million euros, and similar to Lukaku's transfer to Chelsea last year, he was framed as the man to finally complete the puzzle, this time for Pep Guardiola.
I like the style, I like the attacking football, I like the kind of positive vibe we have.
Guardiola's Man City have gone strikerless for a few seasons, and Haaland knew that he had very big shoes to fill at the club, with previous striker Sergio Aguero being one of the greatest players in Manchester City's history.
It's the option, isn't it? Sometimes last season when Manchester was playing that false nine and you just started crying out for a forward in there. Now they have that.
For the citizens, there was no better striker in the market to go for. Literally everybody wanted Haaland, and there was a lot of fanfare when the Norwegian finally selected the Etihad as his preferred destination. Haaland is a pretty big deal. Himself and Kylian Mbappe are currently being touted as the next great GOAT rivalry, which could continue Messi and Ronaldo's legacy.
We're not going to get another Ronaldo or Messi, but those guys look, and you know what I think I like? They look hungry for success, and they want to take that next step up and take the crown from those boys.
Haaland is a literal goal-scoring machine, and some even refer to him as a robot.
How do you defend against this guy? Well, I'm sorry, but nobody's come up with the answer yet.
His goals to game at nearly every club he's played for is absolutely insane. Just look at these numbers.
I mean, he's averaging a goal a game, just about.
His ongoing start to life at Manchester City is nothing short of flawless. He scored 14 goals in just 10 appearances already, as he continues to garner praises from literally everyone.
And how quickly he seems to have settled into this team.
His stats are ridiculous. 14 goals, 10 games.
I think he's standing as an exceptional player already.
The first impression that I had, I remember a little bit my dear friend Ibrahimovic, that have this incredible ability to put the heck on the roof. So, and Erling is quite similar on that.
Right now, the Norwegian is on course to becoming one of the greatest players of all time, and his rivalry with Kylian Mbappe is truly one to keep an eye on.